Hi, welcome to Planetary Calendars, Astro Portraits. I'm Ralph Demetrius, one of the astrologers. Our subject today is Dan Brown, the author of the Da Vinci Code, among various different things. So, one of the things that makes this chart interesting as a subject is that we don't know the time. And there's a concept called rectification where we go in and we figure out when's the person born based upon life events. It's actually easier with someone who's had a longer career and a longer life because you know that there's patterns. In looking at his chart, the main tool I had to work with was one, his books, but two, I had his videos. He's done a masterclass, and I've been taking his masterclass in writing thrillers. Not that I'm especially thinking about writing a thriller, but it's a fantastic masterclass. He's a wonderful speaker. In fact, he's such a wonderful speaker that I became convinced, for that and a number of other reasons, that he has Leo rising. Now, he's born in Cancer. He's born at 1 degree Cancer. Now, that's a cardinal point, and those cardinal points, 1 degree Aries or 0 degrees Aries, 0 degrees Cancer, 0 degrees Libra, 0 degrees Capricorn, those cardinal points have a lot of leverage. People are born there. They're very strong. Meryl Streep, for instance, is born right at 0 degrees Cancer. A lot of power there. But even though he's born in Cancer, it's actually the only planet there, though he has the North Node there too. What his real stellium is Gemini. Big surprise for a writer, right? Writers in Gemini, the hands, communication. He has Venus, Mercury, and Mars in Gemini. He's very quick-witted. He's very quick thinking. He's a very agile mind. He has the moon in Sagittarius. Now, we're pretty sure of that because if we look at noontime, it puts the moon at 5 degrees Sagittarius. So pretty much the entire day would have been in Sagittarius. But also you look at him, he's got that kind of moon in Sagittarius position. The sun in Cancer is a very strong position, in many ways as strong as the position for the sun in Leo, which we consider the classic rulership. If you look at how many very successful people there are with the sun in Cancer, you get what I mean. Like I said, someone like Dan Brown, Tom Hanks, Meryl Streep, Robin Williams. These are Cancer sun positions. They're very strong. Julius Caesar, George W. Bush. I mean, it's a very, very strong position. But the moon in Sagittarius is also a very strong position. We consider it the alternate ruler for the moon along with Cancer. It's a very positive position. So he has both the sun and the moon in very strong positions. He's got the Mercury in Gemini, a rulership position, an extrovert rulership position. And then we have to look at the rising. Now, one of the features that shows us that he might be a Leo rising is he has a cleft in his chin. Now, I have the same cleft, and I also have Leo rising. In face reading, it says that when a person has a cleft in the chin, they like attention. And if you watch movies very much, you will notice that a lot of actors, especially stage actors, have the little cleft in the chin. It's very much a mark of Leo rising. But also when you look at him, you can see, the roundness of the Cancerian. And you can see all that Gemini. And one of the ways you can spot it is that his eyebrows are not the same height. That's a little Gemini thing that happens. Their eyebrows get like 2 different heights. It's kind of quizzical. It's a little impish. But then you've got a strong sense of fire. Well, you figure that's partially from the moon, but also his body type looks very leonine. It's not always like that, but it tends to be more solar. And so he really has that strong sense. What's interesting is that when we give him Leo rising, what that does is it puts at his midheaven Taurus. And he has Jupiter in Taurus. Right? So Jupiter in Taurus means that he would expand into the world either through finance or through the arts or through music. And before he got into writing novels, he was a musician and a composer. And that was the main focus of his life. When he moved from New England to Los Angeles, he moved there to study music. He's still composing music. You know, this has really been a central core of his life, is writing music. When he plans his books out, he many times thinks of them as symphonies. He thinks of them as songs. And even in his masterclass, he describes part of it very much the way a musician would describe the process and the balance and the way in which you're going to create drama within the piece. That's Taurus at the midheaven. His career is in the arts. What's interesting is because it's in Taurus, it goes back to the Venus in Gemini. Well, Venus in Gemini is writer, especially because it's Venus in Gemini retrograde, which means he would tend to come to it later in life, not as his initial career, but as his second career. And there was a certain point where he was teaching English. He got to a point where he was studying music and doing music, but then teaching English, and then started working on writing a novel, which he got published, and then he wrote the Da Vinci Code, which got really published and made his other books, take off at the same time. He's a tremendously wealthy man, which, that Jupiter in Taurus really appreciates. So that's just a little look about how you rectify a chart. And like I said, I wish we had his exact time. It would be really helpful. So if anyone out there knows Dan Brown's exact time, or Dan, you see it yourself, feel free to email us with the exact time. It'd be very appreciated. We'll find out if we were correct. The cool thing about this is it's Leo rising. It puts his sun in the 12th house. You see this a lot with very creative people and very imaginative people. The 12th house is the house of the studio, the house of the sanctuary. You see a lot of artists have 12th house suns. Ron Howard, the director, has a 12th house sun. Jodie Foster, the director, also has a 12th house sun. I think Anne Hathaway, as I recall, also has a 12th house sun. Imagination is tremendously important to them. And once again, with his sun in the 12th house at such an angular spot, conjunct the North Node, remember it's the moon's node, in the 12th house, that ability to pursue his imagination, to kind of create his own worlds, would be very important to him. It would be very emotionally enriching to him. He would learn a great deal from it. What's funny is that he'd have all those planets in Gemini in the 11th house, the house of commerce, and his books have been great commercial successes. So thank you very much, Mr. Brown. I mean, that really describes it pretty beautifully. So that's it. Hope you found that interesting. Just a little thought about rectification. Come see our portraits each Tuesday, and come see our forecasts on each Friday. We put those up on YouTube on Planetary Calendar Astrology. You can also come to our website, planetarycalendar.com, where we have our books and calendars and all of the forecasts and the portraits. And until next time, be well and enjoy.